happy and spoiled right now. Look. Woo, it's so beautiful. Aloha and welcome to my channel. He was just walking right by when I started this, so I'm like, you know what, we're gonna say hello. We're gonna say hello. He's so cute. Isn't he cute? Oh, say hi. Hi. All right, sorry. I'm so sorry I've been MIA from my makeup channel for a while. I've had a lot going on and some really cool, interesting things. You know, life is always throws you those curveballs and those fun things to like distractions and things to focus on and work and COVID and all that. So anyways, I was interested in some other projects I was working on and worked on those things. I learned, oh, he's meowing now. I'm learning how to read tarot. I've been working on some other fun things as well. However, I went to Hawaii recently, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to do like makeup in Hawaii was my whole plan, right? The only thing is when I went there, like I didn't bring any like lighting or anything. And I didn't like pre-plan like how am I going to do that, because I actually wanted to like condense and like not bring a lot of stuff on the plane. But then when I was there trying to film a video, I'm like, oh yeah, like I didn't plan any of that, so it didn't really go well. I'll show you. This was me like trying to put like makeup on the balcony when it was like gorgeous and like super windy. It was like, here, I'll show you, hold on. Yeah, so it was interesting. It was like this beautiful, beautiful ocean view. And every time I wanted to go out on the balcony, it just all of a sudden would get like really windy. So it didn't work out. And then the lighting in like the hotel room was pretty dim. So yeah, I'm sorry, it didn't really end up working out. But I'm still gonna plan on showing you. This is what I wore to our luau. We had the most amazing luau night ever. We went to Old Lahina Luau's, and they've been doing it for 50 years or more. They've been doing it forever, and they just really, really know how to do luau. So we went there, and my family and I, like, we just had, it was the best luau I've ever been to in my whole life. So I really liked the makeup that I did for the luau day. I liked my sunshine makeup day that I did, like a paradise, you know, paradise oranges, and I was in the sacral chakra of Hawaii, so I wanted to do kind of like an orangey makeup look one day, and I just really wanted to get in the vibes, and I wanted to be happy about my makeup when I was there, so I did. It just didn't really film it properly, but now I know for my next trip, you know, like what I need to like think ahead of time to get that done properly. So yeah, so I'm still gonna show you some of my looks that I did and where we went, and I'm gonna show you some of the clips. I'm gonna still bring you along a little bit with some of the adventures that we did. And we went on a helicopter tour, my son and I, and then on Friday we went to a cacao plantation and chocolate factory tour in Lahaina, so that was really fun too. And I ended up trying to paint a cacao pot on like my hand, but the products that I brought like weren't like paint friendly, so I'm gonna think about that for my next trip as well. Bring the right paints, and next time I'm gonna be able to bring a suitcase, so I'll be able to pack more makeup than I did this time. This time I just didn't feel like checking in a bag. I just didn't feel like it, so I just brought like one duffel bag, and I condensed all of everything I wanted to bring in one bag. I know, it was crazy, but I did it. So let's go ahead and start with the look, and then I'll show you the rest of our adventures in Maui. So I like wanted to pack really, really light, and this is all I brought as far as makeup is concerned to bring. I just wanted to pack really light. I just packed like mini palettes, like mini powders. I just wanted to keep it lightweight and mini. But I also wanted to keep like these are pretty neutral. These are all pretty neutral. This one's really colorful. This one's really purpley. And this one was like hot pinky. So yep, this was pretty much my lineup for palettes. And then I also brought this Hourglass Ambient Mini because it came with the light bronzer, the powder, the highlighter, and the blush all in one compact. And I figured that would be like really, really easy to pack. So yeah, it all worked out pretty well. So yeah, I'm just starting out with my P. Louise base and spreading that out very clean and smooth with a concealer brush. This is just a Wet n Wild. I actually really like this one. Nothing special, but I really like the shape of it for my eyeballs. And then I'm also using my Be My Lover mini palette here and using the palest shades just to kind of get a base. And then I'm using the shade called, I think it's Crazy, is it True Love? Oh, I don't know. But I'm using this very, very thick, dense brush to pack it really tight into my socket. I just wanted it to be very, very curvy, and I wanted a thick amount of color so that I could just very lightly brush out the edges with the more paler nude shades in the palette, just to kind of give this soft wash blushy background, but still have the color be really bright and curved in my eye socket. And then I'm taking a really, really thin liner brush to do my cut crease and making it very, very round. See, my big eyeballs are so big. I have to create like a really tall space for that. Then I'm using this color called Daisy, which is such a beautiful shimmer pink. I love this palette. This is the Cranberry palette. I chose these colors not only for the colors, but the shade names are names of flowers. So this is Daisy. And then I'm using Blossom, and then I'll be using Sakura. So this is Blossom, which is also another, flower name, Lay's, Aloha. So, and I'm just blending kind of like a V, kind of contouring my eye in, blending all of the edges and the corners in really good. And then I cleaned it up with my concealer, and I'm using a liner, and I'm not going all the way in. I'm just going like 3/4 of the way in because I want the two deeper shades on the outer 2/3 and then the lighter shade in the center of the bottom of the lower lash line. So I'm just blending all of the same shades as above, so below in, and then I'm using Sakura to kind of create a shaded variation in between the two colors and blending it in, and I was really impressed with it. I love this color so much. It's so bright. And then I'm using Blossom again on the inner corner, and then blending all of the edges again with the lightest shades, and using my liner just on the lash line just to create a very, very clean lash line for my lashes. Nothing fancy. And then I'm using my Fuck Proof mascara, which is excellent for creating a very, very tight line. Very, very tight line. Love it. And then I'm using my Ofra Mini Highlighter Pillow Talk and my Cami Nguyen Silky Lashes, Strip Lashes. And I'm using, in Silky 6 actually. Then I'm using the highlighter shades and my Hourglass palette to finish contouring, and I used the blush, but this is the highlighter that I used, but then like I used everything else from the blush and the bronzer from the Hourglass palette. And then I used a Rimmel liner that I actually got there in Maui because I couldn't find it one day. I don't know, it was like the weirdest thing. I knew I packed a lip liner, but I couldn't find it when I needed it, so I went that day. And then I'm using these new Lawless lipsticks. Finished look, but it is so freaking pretty. Wow. And here is my finished look. Aloha, aloha. Yeah, we had such a great time. The luau was amazing. So for another thing that I wanted to say about my makeup in Hawaii is I brought my bedelum, I don't know how to pronounce it, brushes, just because it was like easy to pack. And like I said, everything I brought was like mini. I even brought this like little highlighter as I used today. And yeah, everything was just like packable, mini size, and so that way I could, you know, it was just easy to travel with. And it was the most amazing trip, I think, of my whole life. The energy was amazing. I did a whole bunch of like spiritual rituals in the ocean and the air and the elements. And so I went on this intense spiritual journey when I was there, and it was just so amazing to be there in the most abundant place on earth. Like, it just feels like you're in paradise. Oh my God, it was so amazing. It was so beautiful, and I felt like at home. It was so weird. Like, I haven't been there in so long, and it felt like I was home. And they say that like Hawaii has like the 7 chakras of like the body. And so I was like at Maui, which is like the sacral chakra. And then Haleaka is like a ley line that connects the volcano that we drove by several times. And then Molokai is supposed to be like the heart chakra, which was from my view. And it's right across from me, and like everywhere I went, like we just saw Molokai, and oh, it was so great. We got to do the helicopter above Molokai in the air and the clouds. Oh my God. And then I was like, when we were in the helicopter in the clouds, I saw a circle rainbow, and then I looked around and it was like around me. I was inside the circle rainbow. It was like, I don't know, it was just like the whole trip was so amazing. And then my dad said the funniest jokes on the road to Hana. Oh my God, they were freaking hilarious. He had us like cracking up. I'll put them up here, but they were just so funny. Like, he saw, like, we were driving by on the road, and like he saw like a call box on the road to Hana, and he's like, my mom was driving kind of crazy. You know, it's a crazy road. And he was like, get this lady off the road, you know, and just, he just said like silly stuff about the trade winds, and like, oh, the 7 pools are up ahead. Oh, we're 3.5 pools away. And he was just like so funny. The whole day was really, really, really amazing. So tropical, seeing waterfalls and everything. And there was one thing that was really, really weird one night when we came. Okay, this was like the first night that they got there. My son and I were in our room because they got their own room. And then I went to go visit them when they arrived in their room. And then my son was, you know, he was in our room. And then I came back and I'm like, hey, your Nana and Papa are here. And like, we all sat down in our hotel room. And then, you know, after they came in, they sat down, we closed the door, and we were just like all talking. And then we were like, okay, like, talking for a little bit, and then we're ready to go to our dinner reservations. We all get up to go to our dinner reservations, and the door won't open. It's like super, super shut, like it wouldn't open. And we were like, okay, that's weird. Why won't it open? So I kept like, you know, pulling and tugging at it, would not open. Then I looked at the doorway, and it was like wood on wood. Like, it was like, you couldn't even see like the crack between the doorway. And that was so strange. And then on the ledge of the doorway, there was like a gap in between the doorway and the wall, like the paneling and the wall. It was like that much. And I'm like, this was not here before. It was so weird. And we were like, oh my God, we're going to be late for our dinner reservation. So we called maintenance. Luckily, they arrived right away. And they started, they couldn't open the door. And it took 3 adults, actually 4 adults at this point to try to open the door. It wouldn't work. So he said, back away, we're gonna kick it in. So he started kicking it in, kicked it in like 3 times, boom, the door opens. And it was just so strange, right? And then he looked down at the bottom of the doorway, and I swear to God, there was like a nail, like this, like sticking, like curved up at the bottom of the doorway, like at the lower ledge of like the doorway. And with the head sticking up too, and like curved. And it was like, that was so weird, right? And I don't know, it was just really strange. And then, so, cause it wasn't there before, well, we kept going in and out, nothing happened with the door. And then, so then he like pulls it out and puts in a new one. And I don't know, I just thought it was the weirdest thing. And then the next morning I thought of like this really weird Bible verse about like door being shut. And anyways, I don't know why I'm talking about that so much. I just thought it was the strangest thing. Otherwise, our trip was so amazing. On the day that we went to the Cacao Plantation and Chocolate Factory tour in Maui, in Lahaina, I ended up painting like a cacao pod on my hand, and then I used the Jennie Cipriotti flush, like the lip and cheek flush, and it paints on really well. In fact, I used it a couple times on my lips because it was just like a sample. It was like really easy to pack. So my review on that is great for lips, great for cheeks. For the eye, it blends really nice, but it doesn't really set. So like when I use them to paint the, I'll put it up here, but like when I use them to paint the cacao pod, it just kind of like smeared off. So it was kind of a pain, but the colors were really pretty. I used like chocolate brown, orange, and gold, and it was really pretty. So yes, so my trip was amazing. Trying to think if there was anything else. The highlights were definitely the luau, the helicopter trip, and the Cacao Plantation, and the beaches. I would go on like private beaches every day and just like look for private beaches nearby the resort, because my son slept till like 3 2, 3 sometimes, unless we got him up to go get breakfast, in which case one morning we did get up to go breakfast to Napili Point, and oh my God, we had like macadamia nut pancakes with coconut syrup. And I know I've had them before many times in my life when I've gone, but this time these were so good. They were so fluffy, and I don't know, I'm just kind of like a foodie and I have a good palate. So it was really fun. It was one of the most amazing trips I've ever had in my entire life. And I really enjoyed my makeup time there. I hope you enjoyed this look and some of the footage of my trip from Maui and some of the makeup fun things and my outfits and makeup that I wore. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to try to do one a month, like one adventurous sort of makeup a month, until I understand a little bit better what I would like to do in the makeup industry again. But basically, I'm just gonna keep working on my makeup art skills and start working on other people a little bit more now, and continue up with these videos. I'm also traveling again in December, and I will be covering that one as well. I'm going to Europe, so I will be doing my makeup in Europe. And this time we'll be more prepared. I'll bring like this or something. Like this can be packable. Maybe I'll bring this. I don't know if it's really good lighting, but I'll do something like that. So luau night. Wow, it's windy.
You want to smile and give it a nice smell. Now wrap yourselves in all that love. Hold on tight and share that aloha with everyone around you. Give yourselves a round of applause, everyone. Mahalo for
plants for us, so it makes more production. So we just want to be cautious, and we just want to be very careful when we're around my cacao trees. So as I mentioned, we're not only growing cacao trees, but we're also growing other plants also. So these are our cacao trees. That's called Forestado, Criollo, and Trinitario. The Forestado is well known in the Amazon areas. The Criollo is well known in Peru. The Trinitario was actually a hybrid that was created by those first two species, that Forestado and the Criollo. The reason why they crossbred those two species was because one had a high resistance to diseases and the other one made really good cacao beans. So that's why they crossbred that too, to make this Trinitario. And this Trinitario was created in Trinidad. So these trees that's surrounding us, this is our Trinitario varieties, and some of them are crossed with our Forestado. So the Trinitario has a very smooth outside shell compared to our Forestado and our Criollo. The Forestado and the Criollo has very rough, bumpy outside shells. So as we're walking around our farm, I'll point out those two other varieties here. The stem, and that membrane holds all our beans together in one piece. So when they extract the beans from the top, it all comes out in one piece, and the bottom of our...
For joining me. If you're interested in going to Maui, go to the Lahaina, the Old Lahina Luau is so good. But thank you so much for joining me, and have a great day. Bye.